Yeah.
We're live.
Great. Good. Great. Hello. Welcome to the Reactor Summit, where Abe puts us live when we're not prepared for it. Today we're talking about normal, everyday Schmoedown matches. Nothing special. That's a lie. We're talking about the Schmoedown Spectacular 3, the third of the Amazing Spectaculars. The Amazing Spectacular. That sounds weird. That's okay. But we're going to talk about all the great matches we got to experience over the weekend, and you're joining us as we delve into that with an amazing panel of wonderful Take 3 people, including pretty much everyone who's normally on the summit all the time. Me. And also Malcolm. Hello. How are you?
I'm just feeling spectacular. It's definitely a great week. It was definitely a great event.
Definitely. I'm with you. I am 100% with you. Also, just one of our typical people who always comes on the summit all the time is Matty Kurtz. How's it going?
This is how we're starting the last summer of the year. Is Malcolm's already got the pun game going, and Kristen, she's really good at the whole guest panelist, being nice. She's just like, so we got these people. They just show up all the time. They're not even worth saying their names. I'm doing great. I'm so good. No, I'm excited to talk about the Kara, why'd you cut me off? Kristen said not to do that.
Can't do anything about that. Sorry, Matt. You're gonna just have to live with it. If she's not crying, we're okay. All right. Did you have anything else?
That was it. I really had nothing more to say.
Okay. Well, Awkward Silences, that's going to be the name of the game as we do our wrap-up of the Spectacular and what we thought about all these. Am I not worth mentioning? No.
Muted you.
You were muted. I didn't think you wanted to talk. Normally, when people turn their cameras off and mute themselves, it means they don't want to talk. Do you want to talk, Abe?
No, I just wanted to be...
He just wants to be mentioned.
Okay. Well, also joining us, but not to say anything or show himself, is the Abe Flores.
Thank you, Abe.
All right. Okay. So, let's go into these matches because there were 6 of them. It's a lot. And we're not going to go in-depth about each match. If you want to go in-depth with each match, I really do want you to watch, if you haven't already, the rundown that they did, which was really good. They got in all the interviews with competitors. They got in all the stats. They got into each match individually and talked a lot about them. It was really good. So definitely check that out if you haven't already. This is just going to be our quick opinions about each match, what our favorite part of each match was, and if there was anything of note within them. And then we're going to talk about just some of the storylines and what we want to see happen coming up. All right. So we are going to watch, we're going to talk about the Commissioner Bowl. You're going to watch it right now.
Watch it again.
3 hours, guys. I hope you're ready for this 3-hour live summit. All right. No, because I definitely can't do that again. We're going to talk about the Commissioner Bowl first. So I really liked this match. I was not sure how it was going to go because the skill level is varying in some of these competitors. But surprisingly, it was very even. And that was my favorite part of the match was round 1, where it was relatively evenly spread out through every competitor. I mean, Thad did a lot better than I was expecting him to do. And to be honest, Christian did a lot worse than I was expecting him to do. And Emma did what I expected her to do. And Tom was there, and he was great. But that was my favorite part, was just it was surprising how people were playing. And for good or bad, it ended up being a really competitive match where the only person who was really out of it before the 3rd round was really Tom. So, yeah. Oh, well. But, I mean, I really enjoyed it. And I Emma did a great job and definitely deserved that win. And I'm excited that she is a commissioner. I mean, I don't know what that means. Didn't explain it, but she's a commissioner, so that's great. Malcolm, let's go over to you first. What was your favorite part of this Commissioner Bowl match?
Well, for the match, I enjoyed it all. It was just a really fun, entertaining match. But I think my favorite part was actually near the end where Fan just conveniently had a paper shredder hidden under the desk for some reason, tried to destroy the evidence after that, and the whole question with the whole "it was me, Austin, all along" moment was just really good and fun.
Yeah, I loved that reveal. I know one Matt Kearns will say he called it. I don't remember him saying anything about Christian being behind everything. I think he's just making all this shit up because I don't remember anyone saying it. I don't watch our stuff after we record it. Yeah. If I'm not on it, I don't know what happens.
You were. It was the one where it was just you and me, actually.
Half the time we record, I'm on like 2 hours of sleep. I don't know what I'm saying right now. Words are just coming out of my mouth.
You heard here first, folks. The host of the summit doesn't even watch her own show. Welcome to T3. We really have a show on the back here.
Not watch that show.
I watched. I actually did watch some of the episode where it was just you and me, because I wanted to see how that one conversation went. But that wasn't a part of that conversation. So
yes, it was after I talked about the fact that I recognized Paulie G in the Schmoedown Awards before he popped up in the cutscenes, which actually happened right after our episode had aired. That happened. And then I said, wouldn't it be funny if Christian was actually in charge of the whole thing the whole time? And then I was right. It's the first of 2 correct predictions I've given everybody. We'll get to the next one later on. But
I don't care.
Hey.
No, I mean, well done for you for calling it. I certainly thought it was going to be someone else because it seemed like it was going in that direction where it would be like Brienne or whoever. But yeah, it was Christian. It was a great reveal. Matt called it. It's Malcolm's favorite part. I didn't
even get to talk about my favorite part.
I know we're not to you yet. Just skip you. No, I'm still talking about Malcolm's favorite part. The paper shredder thing was hilarious. It was it was like out of nowhere. Anyway, Matt, fine.
Well, because I thought when you were talking about how I predicted it, I thought that was the transition.
No, I was just working you into the segment.
Fine. Oh, I'm just a segment to you. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, Matt, what's your favorite part of this match? This is going real well. That's why we don't think you do
is making me dead inside in so many ways. This is one of them at this point. Well, yeah, the paper shredder thing was funny. It was just Thad being Thad again. It was kind of funny that they're still keeping him around. Like, that's hilarious. But to go off of Emma being like commissioner, like I'm interested to see who else they're gonna choose. Personally, I think the person who should be chosen is my favorite part of the Manager Bowl, which is I literally sent this to the group. I was like, Tom, just Tom, period. From his entrance with his like midriff shirt to just like the Suicide Squad thing, and Tom is just hilarious. We really should have, like, I don't care if you put him as like commissioner of like the microphones. Like, you need to have Tom Dagnino as a commissioner in the Schmoedown in some way, shape, or form. But overall, the Manager's Bowl, I agree with you, Kristen. It was a lot more competitive than I thought it was gonna. Like, I hoped it would be competitive, but it's weird. Like, I hoped it would be competitive, but it was also like, it probably won't be. But then, like, yeah, Christian, ring rust is a real thing. Emma played fantastic. Thad and Tom were Thad and Tom, and I was fine with that. So yeah, all in all, it was a good match, I think, to start this spectacular off with.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. It was a great opener. I thought part 1 was, to me, the strongest part of all of them, let alone the fact that it was 3 hours. It was a really well-paced 3 hours. So that does lead us into the second match of part 1, which was the team match. I loved this match. Absolutely 100%. This was one of my favorite matches of the year. My favorite part is round 2. I mean, both teams just nailed their round 2s. I mean, when Sandra Bullock got spun, I know on the reaction, people were like, oh, I don't know if she'll get it or not. I knew she was going to be fine. Sandra B is like one of her favorite actresses. I'm like, oh, Clark's got this. Hands down, Clark's got this. And she really did. And then when Festival of Darlings was spun, there was a lot of like, oh, don't get it. It's a terrible category. And I'm like, guys, don't doubt Ben. I think Ben's going to nail this category. And he did. And that's coming from someone who's not been a team action or who's the boss fan in the past. I don't think you should ever doubt Ben. I think he's got a lot of hidden strengths, and he watches a lot of new movies. A lot of new movies. So yeah, he nailed it. It was surprising how well he nailed it, but at the same time, like, I did think that he was going to do well at it. So round 2 was just amazing. Like, I don't know that we've seen a match where each team's round 2 has gone as well as it did this season. Like, there's been some where round 2s have been really, really good, but each team nailed their round 2 without any hesitation. And it was just, that is what you want a finals match to be. Absolutely. So we're going to go to Matt this time first for this heartbreaking of team matches. What was your favorite part?
I'll talk about the match first, and then we can get into the things that happened after the match, after the fact. So, I said it yesterday. I tweeted it, and I stand by this even now. This is the greatest team match I think we've seen in Schmoedown. And we have seen a lot of great team matches, but this, when you look at round 1, anybody's game. Going into round 2, you had the two ends of the spectrum where it was one team got a strength of theirs. The other team got, which happens a lot more often in the Schmoedown than we talk about, which is you spin something on the wheel, you spin away, and then you get stuck with it. And Festival Darian's like, that could be a lot of different things. And the fact that Ben and Riley killed it, they didn't go to multiple choice from my memory. Like, neither team, like, it, they just went straight. Like, that was just no steals, no multiple choice, just hit it all. And I mean, this match just like it never, the thing I love is it never let up. Like, it was just like round 2 is amazing. And then you go into round 3, neither one of them get it. Like, and then you get into speed round, and it's like, even going into round 5, it still is very close to where it's like anyone can win it or lose it. God, I just loved, but I think my favorite part is repeating again was Tom. We got to see a different side of Tom Dagnino. We got to see the Tom Dagnino that like me and Christian have seen when we got to hang out with him. Like when, and the moment I chose was it's when he's standing there waiting for Emma and he just stretches out the hand. He doesn't, there was no like, because I was afraid when he's standing there, I thought like, oh, is he going to do one of those like, kind of like what JT did to Bibiani, like one of those go for the shake back. But no, he shook the hand and then he was just like really nice to the Shirewolves. There was no, like during the post match, there was no like, yeah, you know, I give it to him. Not like, it was just a beautiful thing. And I hope that we see this Tom next season more. I personally would like to see, because he was still funny, but like I would like to see a more humble Tom Dagnino, I think, with Who's the Boss, and we'll talk about what happened with that afterwards. But yeah, Ben and Riley and Rachel and Clark were just on. These are some of the best competitors we have in the league operating on the top of their game. And I've rambled on and on enough about this match, so I'll let the two other panelists talk about it. Shocker for what my favorite match of Spectacular is, guys.
We did talk a lot about this match. No, but it was a match well worth talking about. Like, we could have done a whole summit just on this match because I thought it wasn't that good. I agree with you. And like I forget that their speed round was terrible. Like, no one answered anything. Riley answered one wrong. It was one of the worst speed rounds we've ever seen. Ever.
Yeah. And like,
but the match was fantastic.
And that the dude with the Wreck-It Ralph question, whoever you were, man, bad on you, sir, bad on you. That was mean.
But I mean, you forget that in a normal title round match, if that had been in there, like that speed round had been in there, that's all people would talk about. They'd be like, "Oh, that speed match was terrible. That round 3 was terrible." No one is talking about that because entirety of the match was just fantastic. It was so, so good. We're going to shoot it over to Malcolm if there's anything left to talk about. Please let us know what you thought of this match. What was your favorite bit of
I mean, this match was just amazing from start to finish. And I mean, everyone was talking about this. It's shown from this match that they have changed up the Festival Darlings round since the critically acclaimed match. Because I mean, they've been talking about the fact that they've changed it so long, but we haven't actually had the chance to see how it's changed, and we actually did see it in this one. So it's definitely there. But I mean, for me, my most favorite part of this is probably Shival's entrance. I mean, to see like all the sort of female superstars that sort of been on the Schmoedown, along Janine Taylor, that all come out with the Shiles and Marilyn Monroe and Audrey Hepburn outfits. It's just their cosplay is always on point, and this is probably one of the best entrances of the year.
I mean, I don't know that it's my favorite entrance of the year. It is one of the best entrances of the year in terms of like the commentary of it, because it included everything that you love about a good entrance. Like the showmanship was there, the costumes were there, and then it had a good point about like this is like the Schmoedown year of like the female competitor. Like that's been a huge thing, is the female competitors this year in the Schmoedown have really been stepping up. And I mean, every year there's always good female competitors, because Rachel's been around for 2 seasons now. Clark's been around for 3 seasons now. This year, I mean, you've got the first title holder that's a female, being Mara Knopik. You have the first team champions with a female in the team. Both females were the team, you know, with the Shire Wolves. And the first defending champions, female champions, with the Shire Wolves as well. And I mean, just a fantastic year for females in general. And I think that you know, entrance really just kind of rounded up how many amazing females were in the Schmoedown this year. And as Abe reminded us in the chat, Brienne was the first female free-for-all winner as well. And man, what a free-for-all win that was, with like nearly perfect rounds that she was in when she got into the free-for-all. But overall, I think that this was just, man, a match I will probably rewatch. And I don't rewatch a lot of matches, to what Abe probably feels bad about, because I'm his teammate. I don't rewatch the matches. He's not paying attention, but that's okay, because I'll rewatch this one. And so if there's a question about this match, then I'll probably know it. But it was fantastic. I do love the entrance. It was so well done. Very poignant to the times as well. And that's our talking points about the team match. We could talk about this match forever, I think, but we're going to move on to part 2, which included the Star Wars match and Clark versus Dan. What?
As much as it pains me, I think we do have to talk about what happened after the team match.
Well, I think we're going to talk about that when we talk about storylines. So.
Oh, I thought we were doing that together.
That's no, hold on to your butts.
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought we were doing it together. That's usually how we do it. I apologize.
Send us notes, we will know what we're talking about. But
yeah, Matthew, I sent you notes this time. No, we are going to talk about storylines, all things storylines, because we love storylines here on the Summit. It's what we like to focus on more than like the stats and all that. But we are going to talk about part 2 now. So the Star Wars match and Clark versus Dan. I liked the Star Wars match. I think it was really good. As for a favorite part for me, there were so many parts that like were so good that it's like, I don't know which one was my favorite. But honestly, I really, really enjoyed Alex's entrance, just the music. If that could be my favorite part. That sounds really stupid, but I think the solo soundtrack, the score is so underrated. Like, it's a really good score. And I think he picked like the perfect Star Wars music as an entrance. Like, I don't know, it just fits so well as an entrance. And like, it was like the perfect mix of like epic and also like, you know, really exciting to kind of get you going. And I really liked it. It was such a good choice.
Unlike Solo, Star Wars Story.
I liked the movie. It was fine.
Sorry,
It was a perfectly acceptable movie. It's just it has to be held up to all the other Star Wars movies, which they're all really good in people's opinions. But if I'm gonna say a part that's not a piece of music because it's not really part of the show, the possibility of getting the Whitworth Damon match that we've all kind of wanted at Celebration is probably my favorite part of this match, just because we've seen Damon go up against some really tough competition with Ken Knapsack twice now. Plus the five-way where he faced off against Whitwer and almost won, and also with Joseph Scrimshaw twice as well. Mm-hmm. And I mean, you've seen him go toe-to-toe with these people who are fantastic. They know their stuff, and we've seen all of them do things that I think we're all surprised about in terms of just how much they know about Star Wars. Like, I didn't even know there was that much to know about Star Wars, honestly. But yeah, just the fact that we might be seeing this match between these two juggernauts of Star Wars trivia knowledge is so exciting. And the fact that I'm going to be at Celebration and I might be able to see this match happen is even more exciting. So I'm really looking forward to this if it does happen. Kara's going to be there. She's real excited.
Is Kara competing?
Yes.
Not yet. Not yet. She's got some more training to do. We're gonna get her going. But let's shoot it over before she yells at me. We're gonna talk to Malcolm about this match. What was your favorite part of the Star Wars match?
I mean, this match was really good. It's definitely one that I enjoyed. I think I'm pretty much my favorite bit was pretty much the fact we might finally get Sam versus Alex as well. I mean, there isn't really a lot to say about this because I mean it was pretty much a cut and dry sort of pretty much what you expected. But I mean, I think one of my most favorite lines was Ken going that Skilliscoo told me there was going to be any quotes questions in this because we all know how Ken feels about quotes.
Yeah, if there is one weakness of Ken's, it is movie quotes, which I think I brought up in a summit previously when talking about our predictions for this match. I believe I brought up if Alex wants to study Ken's weaknesses, quotes is a huge weakness of Ken's. It's a weakness of everyone's except for Sam's. So if anyone is going to study, then that's like where you would want to do it. But yeah, no, I'm with you. I thought that was funny. Thought it was really funny. And I'm glad you brought that up because some of those little moments don't always make it into these wrap-up shows. And those are kind of the moments that make the Schmoedown for me. So let's shoot it over to Matt. You like the Star Wars, don't you?
They're okay. This match, like my favorite things about the Star Wars matches sometimes are more just comparing my knowledge, seeing if any of the questions that I've written over the time that I was writing for Chris Liskey get in there. I don't remember any of mine off the top of my head. But this was a fun match. I feel bad saying that I kind of agree that the best part is not really part of the match because it's more just Alex winning sets up that we could get Sam versus Alex in the match. I kind of liked there was a lot of episode 1 love in this match, and that made me very happy. As a fan of episode 1, there was a lot of love for the film. The cutscene before this match was great. As Malcolm brought up from reading Twitter, the guy in the opening was Nathan Hamill, who, of course, you could tell from the name, he's Nathan. And Nathan's hot dogs are a great thing to eat. So he's also Mark Hamill's son. So, that's pretty cool that they got Nathan Hamill involved in that. I'm sorry, Mr. Hamill. I didn't know if it was your dad. I would have known what he looks like. I'm just kind of rambling on here now. It was a good match. It was a fun match. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to Celebration, so I guess I don't get to see Whitwer versus Damon live.
Yeah, no, just me. I honestly had no idea who that guy was, and I was like, "Who is that?" And Dave's like, or John is like, "Is that Dave Filoni? Is that?" I'm like, "Do you not know what these people look like?" I'm like, "No, that's not."
George Lucas?
Right. I'm like, "You're supposed to be the Star Wars fan in this house. Like, I like Star Wars, but he likes Star Wars. You know, like he's like in a relationship with Star Wars, and I'm just like friends with Star Wars." And he didn't know. He was like, "Who's that? Is that is that Pablo Hidalgo?" I'm like, "That's not fun." Oh man, Hey, you know what? We're all in relationships with something. I share
Can I
John.
pronounce Pablo Hidalgo names correctly?
How?
It's Hidalgo. Thank you.
Hidalgo, excuse me.
Is that
Abraham
canon now?
Flores. Yeah, I think that's canon now. So, thank God the sun went behind a cloud. This is going real well, guys. Yeah, no, I mean, I thought that was really cool once you actually knew who that was, that they got him in studio. Just super duper cool. So cool. So let's move on. Clark versus Dan. This was probably my least favorite match of the whole spectacular. It wasn't so much a letdown as much as it just was. I think it was maybe a little bit too like drawn back. Like the energy of all the matches before it were so high, and then when you got to this match, it just the energy wasn't there, and I didn't feel that kind of spark of competition that I wanted to feel. And I don't know if that's because Clark was tired from her team match, or if it's just because these two competitors have a very similar play style. But it just felt like it should have been maybe like the opening match, just to get people going. I understand why they did what they did with the team match, getting her in there first so that she could have as much of a chance as possible to defend her title well rested without having all that added stress of having a match before it. But yeah, it just felt a little down, and that's nothing on them. But my favorite part was, my favorite part was really just like Clark, no matter what, she's always just really classy. And I know that's her nickname, so duh. But win or lose, and this is the same with Dan, win or lose, they just have such a good attitude about how they view the Schmoedown and how they view the matches. And like they can be upset about losing, but like the way that they win or lose is done with a lot of grace, and it's done with a lot of humility. And like it doesn't really matter what happens. They always just come out of the game with like really good retrospective. So that was kind of my favorite part of that match. I'm really excited that Dan won. I wanted Clark to win, but getting Dan to play at that live event is going to be really exciting for me because I'll finally get to see him play live. Other than that, let's check in with Matt. What was your favorite part of this match?
This match, you know, the thing about what is like? What is that word? L-I-K-E. What does it mean to actually like something? Like I think Kristen likes Kara. I think John likes Star Wars. But like, it's such a strange word, isn't it? This match kind of happened. To put it bluntly, as I often put things on the summit, it just sort of, you don't know what's going to happen when you're scheduling these things out. There's no way to know that, like, this was a good match. Like, this was a good match, but in a spectacular with so many great matches, like, yeah, you probably should have opened with this one. Having said all that, and that's nothing to take away from two people who would, like, murder, death, kill me in a match that wasn't, like, Indiana Jones and Star Wars and Kurt Russell movies. It just kind of, it felt like a normal season Schmoedown match, if I can say that, and I don't mean that in a bad way. Like, I feel like if this was any other summit, we would be talking about this match differently, but because it's at Spectacular, where tensions are so high and people. Okay. Gonna change what I was about to say, but tensions are so high and everyone's kind of really hyped to sort of get two competitors to play the same way. This is what happens. I give it up to Dan. He played a great match. It's going to be interesting to see how it performs at the live event. For Clark, I agree with Kristen. She's always very classy in defeats. That's going all the way back to like Rhea and Chandler at last year's tournament, where you could tell she was angry, but like she keeps composed and she doesn't even like go on Twitter and like blast off there. Like I've always respected that about her. That's why she's one of my favorites. But I think my favorite part of this was more Cody and Mayonnaise and Mine's reaction, where we got into the fight between Ben-Hur and Return of the King. That was probably my favorite thing that happened here. So yeah, all in all, this was a fine Schmoedown match.
I think it's really weird that your favorite thing is part of the reaction. I mean, it's a great way to promote the reactions, I guess.
Yeah.
Where can you find that reaction, Matt?
You can find it on Take 3 if it hasn't been taken down yet.
Perfect. Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen the reaction yet. I just haven't had an extra 2 hours in my day to sit down and rewatch the Spectacular yet. But I'm sure it was a funny interaction. The thing about the Schmoedown is, if you've never watched it with someone else, it is such a fun thing to watch with your friends, which is basically what our reactions are. I mean, like, we're reacting to the matches, but we're just friends watching this Schmoedown together. And that's what I love about the Schmoedown, is just the fun that can happen between friends. And that's kind of, I'm sure, what happened in the reaction. So I'm excited about that, and hanging out with friends in the future and watching the Schmoedown. Always excited about that.
You know, maybe even live.
Friends.
Hello, Kristen.
Speaking of friends, Malcolm, what did you think about this match?
I mean, there really isn't much left to say about this match. It was a standard match. I mean, personally, I probably would have switched this match with the team match, because to start off with a 5-round and going into a 3-round is tough. But to start off with a 3-round as a warm-up, then go into the team match, which is more high stakes, then it sort of balances out better in my eyes. Because you know that if you go to run a marathon, you do not go straight for the 50K marathon first. You start off with a smaller marathon. I do not know where that marathon analogy was going, but never mind. I said it, so it can't be edited out. So
it's like running a marathon and then running a half a marathon. It's easy.
Yeah,
I don't know that I get that either, but like maybe because now you're like, oh, this is so much easier because I've already done the full thing. I don't know. I've ran a half. I can't imagine doing anything afterwards. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna move on to Inner Geekdom, just because I think yeah, I don't have much else to say about this match. If it was a normal match, I feel like we would be much happier with it, because it was a good match, but because it was part of the Spectacular and everything coming before it has just been like, this is great and I love this and whatever, you know. Yeah, it was just fine, which isn't really a bad thing, but at the same time, like, it was such a change of energy that I think that's probably why it seems like it was such a missed match for me. But the Inner Geekdom match, I think we're back on pace with the Inner Geekdom match. It was a close match. It was high energy. Both competitors were on their game. It went to sudden death. It was the only match in the entire Spectacular that went to sudden death. Did any matches at last year's Spectacular go to sudden death? I don't believe so.
I'm off the top of my head, I don't remember any of them going to sudden death.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really remember any of them being sudden death, but it might be the only spectacular match to go to sudden death, which is really impressive. I mean, honestly, the pressure of performing in a normal title match is huge, and then you put into perspective that they're performing a title match at the spectacular, which is a huge event, and there are so many people at the studio, and there's so many other things going on, and it's a high pressure situation. The fact that both of these players performed so well is really amazing to me, and I loved this match up until the very end. And yeah, that was really my favorite part. Just the fact that it was so competitive. There was really no part of the match that felt like, oh, this person's going to win over this person. It went down to the wire, and that's how you want a title match to go. So let's talk about this match real quick. We're going to start it off with Malcolm. What was your favorite part of the Inagita match?
Yeah, I mean, this match itself, there was really much to talk about. It was pretty much kind of standard. Like, there wasn't really any sort of standout moments. But yeah, I mean, for me, like there was definitely something up with Mara. I mean, she's one of my favorite competitors, but either she was having a bad day or something. But that post match interview, there was just it's really hard to put that in words and figure out where to go with that. So.
Oh, I was muted. I don't really want to talk a long time about that post-match interview because there, like I said, there's so much pressure going on at these big events that things can just spiral. And if you're already having a hard time before with something, and then you go into this event and then you lose and you feel like, really down about the fact that you lost, and then with people playing characters, it can get really like messy and stuff. Like, I don't want to talk about that because there's been a lot of talk about it online, and people either defending Mara or not defending Mara. I don't really care about that. She played her hardest. I think that we're focusing on the wrong thing with this match. Instead of focusing about her attitude after the match, instead of focusing about, what was happening with her before or after the match, she went to sudden death. That was a huge match. This is one of the highest scoring Intergeekdom matches we've ever seen. I mean, this is, I think, only this season, the one that got higher was the sudden death match between her and Rachel. And these are two matches basically in a very short time frame that will go down as some of the best Intergeekdom matches we have ever seen. And we are focusing on a post-match interview. She's upset. She should be upset. She wanted to keep the belt. She wanted to defend her title, and she couldn't do it. And she got so close to doing it into sudden death. Of course, you're going to be upset. So I don't want to focus on that. I know it's a big part of the show, but at the same time, I think that people are forgetting how much really good trivia happened in that match. And I don't really want to go into it any more than that. So, Matt, what was your favorite part of the Intergeekdom match as you saw it?
Yeah, just to sort of quickly jump out, it's not our place to talk about the competitors and what is or isn't happening in their personal lives. And yeah, post-match interviews, you could say, oh, well, I could tell it. You can't. You weren't there. You weren't. It's not our place to do that. So why don't we talk about a fantastic title match? I think that's the thing that for Mara and for Mike, two great Intergeekdom players had one of their best matches, and it sucks that people are talking more about a post-match interview. This was an insanely well-played match. Again, like what I said about the team match, just two competitors in their field, just playing at the top of their game. And also, just going to share this. This is from March 20. You can't really read that. This is a tweet from March 2016. In it, from you should all follow him on Twitter, @Kearns_Matthews said, bold Schmoedown prediction, but I think by the end of 2018, Mike Kalinowski will be Inner Geekdom champ. You want to know what happened after I tweeted that? Mike said, "Oh, that's awesome, thanks." And then Jason Inman, Christian Hoff, all these people were getting in and be like, "Oh, that's silly. Mike's 0-2 right now, blah, blah, blah." Who was right? Matt was right. Now, I want to say that I'm Nostradamus in the Schmoedown. That's a callback to an old summit. But my predictions were correct, just like most of my predictions in the Anarchy tournament were correct. Pretty much what I'm saying is in 2019, when I predict things in Schmoedown, don't tell me I'm wrong, people. Okay? Don't tell me I'm wrong. Because I've been proven time again that I'm right. I mean, Chris is always going to say that she's right. Yeah, but I know I'm right. No, this is awesome. I'm happy for Mike because I know this is the belt he's always wanted. And so I'm really happy that he got it. And he also got it in such a, like, it went to sudden death. Like, you went up against the best of the best to win the belt. Like, that's kind of how I like title matches to go. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see next season who Mike could be playing for the belt. But for right now, as a fan of Mike's, I'm really happy he kind of, like, even if he loses the belt, like, he achieved his goal to win the Inner Geekdom belt, and that's awesome. And he did in such a great match. As Forrest Gump once said, that's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm with you. Look, I have had a weird relationship with Mike Kalinowski in reactions. He's always played someone that I favor. And that's not on him. He would play Rachel, or he'd play, Brienne, or he'd play like people who I would pick as my favorites in any match. And so, I mean, I always kind of said it as a joke, like maybe one day I'll root for Mike Kalinowski. I was kind of rooting for him to win this match, not because I didn't like Mara. If you knew anything about, his prep for this match, he worked his ass off for this match. And he worked his ass off for that tournament because I think he was sick of being the butt of the joke. I think he was sick of coming in second place. I think he was sick of something that he favored. Like, this is his league. He loves this league. He loves these products. I think he was just sick of it. He was sick of people saying that he wasn't good enough. And he worked his ass off, and he got so close to winning that tournament. And, he won this match. And I think it just proves that, with enough hard work, anyone can be a champion. Sure, it sounds cheesy, but he worked his ass off for this thing. And I kind of wanted him to win just because I knew how hard he was working for it. And it's really great to see hard work pay off. And I still don't know if I'm ever going to root for him in a reaction if we get to really do those anymore. We'll talk about that later. But it's not his fault. He just... play someone I don't like, and then I'll root for you. I don't know. Let's go over to Malcolm. Nope, you already talked. You went first. We're gonna go over to the team title match, or the singles title match. This is what happens when we get into conversations about things we like.
That's right.
The singles title match.
I'm saying this is the last match of Spectacular.
Oh yeah, this is. I thought you asked what the last match was. No. Yes, this is the last match of Spectacular. I really liked this match. I think that the matchup between Roka and Irwin on paper looks really good. And behind the scenes, I had been talking to Roka yesterday, and he just said he wasn't on that day. And so, I mean, that's what I got from him was, he was super focused until like the day of the match, I guess, and then just like lost his focus. It happens to everybody, honestly. It's happened to people like, I mean, you've seen it a lot with Dan. Just, if he's not focused when he comes into a match, things get to him and he doesn't stick the landing, But even without being as focused as he wanted to be, he still played a really great match. Sure, he probably got some of the things wrong that he should have known. But at the end of the day, it was still a really well played match from him. And while I would have liked for him to win just because he's one of my favorite competitors, Ethan Irwin has come into this tournament and come into the Schmoedown this year like a hurricane. Seriously. Crazy. I don't even know how someone can come into the league and perform better than Ethan performed this year, because he came in at the free-for-all and just dominated. And then pretty much every match except for McWeenie dominated. McWeenie? You lost to McWeenie? No, he won. Mark Andrico.
Yeah. I was like, what? What are
Pretty
you
much
talking
everyone
about?
except Mark Andrico. Blah, blah. Just ridiculous. He's played so well. And really, one of my favorite things about this match is just how well he played. But my actual favorite thing about this match was the post-match interview, where it seemed like Roca was going to be stepping away. And then he was like, no, I'm not stepping away. I'm going to win that belt. He is still as hungry as ever to get that belt back. And I love his determination to just keep coming back and to roll with the punches. And it would feel so weird if he wasn't part of the league, honestly, because he is such a staple of the Schmoedown. He cuts a great promo, honestly. And I don't care how he plays in a match. He can cut a great promo. But yeah, I can't wait to see him play more in 2019. And that nose reveal, RIP soft shoe. I don't know. I'm sad. So
You're sad.
well, yeah. Sorry, Matt. We'll get into your sadness later. Matt, let's go to you first on this one. What was your favorite part of the title match?
My favorite part of the title match. I mean, first, this was a great match played by both competitors. Congrats to Ethan. It still makes part of my favorite thing is it still makes me laugh that at free for all when we saw it, Ethan Irwin was just like, I don't even think his first match had even aired at that point yet. And so like for all of us, like, oh he did great. Like, you know, good on you. But now it's just like to think back and be like, you dumbass, that was a future singles champ. You should have been more hyped for him in free for all. But my favorite part is the speed round, the Inglorious Bastards question. Just for those of you who don't remember, like it was Sam Levine was the answer, and he was there, and Sam just walks up and takes the Singha Buzz like, neither one of you deserve this. It had me dying on the floor laughing. I think this was a really great match to end Spectacular on, and I feel for Kristen. We had to talk about this yesterday about Nost. I feel for her right now.
Yeah, and you know what? If you watched our interview with Matt Nost from a while ago, he said he's not as invested in the Schmoedown as a lot of other competitors are. Like, he just likes to come and play, and like if he wants to smack talk, he'll smack talk. But you know, he's not as invested as Roca. He's not as invested as Bibiani, and he's never going to be. And so him stepping down is like, it makes sense. It's upsetting because I will never tire of his brand of humor. Like, he's hilarious and he's a really great person. And while I will miss him competing, maybe there's room for him in the Schmoedown in another capacity. And we're going to talk about predictions for 2019 in just a few minutes. So we'll get into that later. But I do want to end the talk of each match with Malcolm. What was your favorite part of the singles title match?
I mean, I loved this whole match. I mean, my favorite moment is probably just a simple one, but it's Jay being all happy and trying to get Roca to shake his hand at the start of the match, and just Roca was like, nope, I'm not going to do it. It's just like, Jay's entertaining. I hope this whole happy persona stays, because I like Happy Jay. I don't really like him crying.
Yeah, you know what? As uncomfortable as I found Happy Jay in the Schmoedown, it is nice to see him managing someone who got the title, just because I do think that Jay has had a bad rap with the Schmoedown in general. Like he is one of the best mouthpieces the Schmoedown has. Like when he did Ethan's announcement to walk out, I was like, dang, why isn't he on the desk more often? He needs to be on the desk. He's got such a natural like announcer voice. So good. And man, he can talk smack about anybody and their mother and their grandmother. I mean, like just ridiculous. And now his like nice persona, it's just hilarious. He has such a good, he's a stand-up comedian, so he should, but he has such a nice knack for like timing and comedy and everything. Like he is such a huge part of the Schmoedown, and I don't think he gets enough credit. So seeing him get to back someone holding a title now, I think will help some of that, but I really just want this to pay off so that he can, continue getting some more notoriety within the Schmoedown. So that's our wrap up of each match. I really like the spectacular. I thought it started well, it ended well, it had great pacing other than a few parts. A really great event. And we didn't talk about this, but I said it many times during part 1 reaction. The graphics on this thing and the editing of this thing, oh my gosh, it's so good. I was blown away by some of the editing in the Schmoedown spectacular. Real quick to wrap up this section, we do want to talk real quick, what is our favorite match? I think we might all have the same favorite match, the team match. Everyone agree?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the team match. It's one of the best matches of the whole year. It's
of the whole Schmoedown, like to put it at 2018 is like doing a disservice. Just say it's one of the best Schmoedown matches we've seen.
It's true. Yeah, I'm with you. It was such a good match. It wasn't even a perfect match. It just was a good match, and there was so much that happened.
And it doesn't. And that's the thing. I'm glad you said that. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect scoring. Like, there doesn't have to be perfect first rounds and perfect second rounds and betting rounds. Like, it doesn't have to be that to make great Schmoedown matches. You have to have what this match had, which was great competitors, a great storyline happening, people invested in the storyline. And I mean, by the competitors, like you saw that in the cutscene before the match, like the Shire Wolves and Who's the Boss, everyone was just on their game. You had, after the match finishes, the storylines with just in the match. Like I said, like Emma and Tom shaking hands in post-match interviews. And even like one of my favorite parts was they cut away from it. I forget what they cut to, but you see Riley hug Rachel, and just his face to her is just like, it's not a fuck you. Like his face is just like, oh my God, I'm so happy. And you even got that from Ben. Like you can tell Ben, it wasn't like douchebag. It was like, he was really happy for them to still be holding the belts. And I really love that. Like that, cause I love the Schmoedown so much. And you know, these people, like, they're not getting paid for this, and they put so much time and effort into do that. And for us to get a match like this is just awesome. And I'm still rambling on about this match because it's definitely my favorite match of maybe even the year.
I haven't, we're going to do our special presentations in January of our ranked lists for the Schmoedown for the year. And I have been holding off making my list because I wanted to see Spectacular, and I'm glad I did, because it would have changed. Very, very clearly would have changed. I'm not sure where this match is going to rank because there have been some really great matches this year, but it will be high up there because it was so good. We are going to move on because we need to talk about the storyline. There was so much that happened, but we're just going to talk about one storyline apiece because there was an overarching storyline and then there were some little things happening. But let's talk about just our favorite thing that happened in the storyline at the Spectacular. I'm going to give it to Matt first because we know what his is going to be. So take it away.
Every time you touch the ice, remember it was Hans who taught us to fly. Sweet prince. Can we just have a moment of silence, please, for team
Did
action.
he really kiss that shirt?
Shut up, Abe! Of all the souls I've encountered in my Schmoedown travels, they were the most heelish. This sucks. This sucks, man. Because I got that Andrew guy got me. Because I was like, when Ben started, I was like, oh my god, who's the boss going to see her? I'm like, this sucks. Team Action's going to break up. But then when Drew was like, dude, no, I got you. Riley fits better for you. I got someone before faction was like, oh my god, we're going to have a Team Action faction with Tom and Riley and Ben and Drew and whoever. I was like, this is awesome. And then they kept holding on Ben for a little bit. And I was like, it's odd. And then it broke a desk and it broke my heart. And then Andrew Guy, he spit on Ben. And it just, I'm a broken man. I'm dead inside. Very, very dead inside. I feel like the kid in Kramer vs. Kramer because I know Drew is gonna make me choose between them. I don't know what to do. I don't even know the difference between a table and a desk right now because I'm so broken. I kiss T-shirt because I'm broke. Like I don't know where this has been. Like it's been in my room where it's been, but I'm just trying to be funny at this point. Follow me on Twitter. I was real broken last night. I made a couple of videos because I had access to Alcohol and iMovie, and that was the result of it. By the way, kids, I wasn't drinking because I was upset. I was drinking like a responsible 18-year-old. I'm sorry, I'm 21, I swear. My fake ID says so. This got real little dark up in here, but that's what happens when Andrew Guy breaks your heart.
And the table.
And the table. But to turn it around, Mark Riley continues to prove why he's my favorite Schmoedown competitor. The way he just like was just like, get the fuck out of here. And then Tom Daganino, being probably the greatest personality we've ever seen in the Schmoedown, just, hey buddy, I'm concerned about your health. Have you seen my mask? Just that was the perfect cap. And Tom and Mark
So
just
funny.
was like, dude, stop with the mask. It was I am so fascinated to see what happens next season as a result of this. But as is, kudos to Ben and Drew for really just giving us like a great cutscene and a great start to a storyline for next season. Even though I'm broken inside.
Yeah,
what did Tokyo do to you, Andrew?
Who knows? Who knows? But I mean, he's going to be there plenty of times, I think. So we'll see what else it does to him next season. It was a great moment. I laughed my head off after I got over being scared to death. Yeah, and we'll go to Matt.
Matt. We'll go back to Matt.
We'll go back to Matt. I just want to see him cry more. Why does no one want to see him cry? We'll go back to Malcolm. Malcolm, what was your favorite part of the storyline of the spectacular?
I mean, for a second, I thought Matt was going to attempt to rip the T-shirt in half the way he was holding it.
This cost me $20 plus shipping. Why would I rip that apart?
But anyway, it's probably going to sound like I'm possessed by a certain Take 3 member, but the return of my brunette at the very end was amazing. Like, because I mean, the whole where is the mask storyline going all through was just fun. It kind of reminded me of I can't remember if it was Spectacular or Collision in which Tom locked Emma in the closet, but this was just a fun overarching storyline because like the interactions with him just happily appearing in the back seat of Pat's car and wanting forcing Pat to drive him to somewhere, and, like the interactions with Emma and all that throughout, it's just amazing.
Yeah, the Pat and Sarah thing, gosh, that cracked me up. Because that whole like take me to the club. No, we're not taking you to the club. Okay. And then they took me to the club. Like, that was so funny. And mine's kind of like a build off of Malcolm's. My favorite part was the Robert Meyer Burnett reveal at the very end. I feel like Chris Clark would probably kill us if we didn't mention it. Oh my gosh. That was so funny. Just him laughing with the shadows and everything. So funny. And then if you aren't on Twitter for some reason, there's a lot of reasons to not be on Twitter, honestly. But if you aren't, Robert Meyer Burnett went hard on the heel persona on Twitter the day of Spectacular. He was responding to people and being a complete asshole, and he was like making comments and like, oh my gosh. I saw on I think a comment on Facebook where people were saying like, man, we're really losing a lot of heels right now. There aren't really very many strong heels. I'm going to say right now, Spectacular gave you everything you need for 2019 for strong heels. Andrew Guy literally just betrayed his best friend.
Yeah.
Robert Meyer Burnett.
And that's kind of also, you have Christian Harloff, I would say, is a heel now after the reveal at the end of after that reveal at the end of the Commissioner's Bowl. I would say
we're gonna find out. Yeah.
He's not a face. Oh, Kristen, Obi-Wan, he's lost. The boy you trained, gone he is.
No. And we also have Mike Kalinowski. So.
Oh yeah.
Who definitely is going to be out for revenge. Let's just. But yeah. I'm super excited for 2019. Just Robert Meyer Burnett got me so pumped for storyline for 2019. So we do have a couple of questions in the chat. We're just going to get to them now, and we'll transition into specific things about 2019 as we talk about the questions in the chat. So the first one, are we going to be reacting to the Patreon exclusive matches? It's a good time to talk about it. Reactions are going to be really hard with the new system, just because we obviously can't put the video in video for the Patreon exclusive matches. And as there are going to be almost all of them Patreon exclusive, reactions are going to either be special occasions for singles or only singles matches. So it is what it is.
We to pull the curtain back a little bit, take three. We were just as shocked as you all watching. We don't listen. We don't get paid for this. We don't get exclusives. Like, it's not like Christian rang us up and was like, "This is what we watched Spectacular," and we were like, "Oh, this is interesting." So I mean, we don't know. We can't give you a big difference. I mean, the one thing is like, singles is all you might be getting, because not everyone at Take 3 is a Patreon. And,
most of us are, but
still, but that would affect who we would be able to get on, and also just editing the reactions of it's real. We will have a much more definitive answer for everyone watching. By the time the Schmoedown comes back, we will have the answer for what's happening. So.
We haven't really talked about it yet, so yeah.
We really, it's the holidays. We all got, I was watching on my own. I literally was like, oh.
Yeah, and some of us knew what was happening before we were really told not to talk about it. So for a lot of people, it was a bit of a surprise. For some of us, it really wasn't. And so some of us have been talking about it for quite a while. And
Scoop Kristen.
What?
Give us those scoops. Why didn't you break it before?
Why have you been holding back scoops all season long? Who are your friends you've been talking with?
I told Christian I wouldn't talk about it, so I don't know.
You heard it here first, folks. Christian. Are they the same person? They might be.
Confirmed. No, I mean he let me know beforehand that things were changing, just because of the Facebook page, to be prepared for the storm, the oncoming storm. Yeah, because this is a huge change, and it's going to impact a lot of people. But we're going to focus more on our original content, and I know Malcolm's going to focus a lot on Rinkum, Matt's going to focus a lot on his great show with Sandy. And are you going to focus on anything else?
Well, I mean, this is an odd time to do plugs, but yes.
This is a stupid time to do plugs. Let's not.
Rhyme and Reason and Second Look will be focused on, which if you're not watching those shows, you really should. Don't watch the Schmoedown Top 10s that we will also be releasing sometime. You should really go back and watch all 8 of the fantastic episodes of Rhyme and Reason with Mr. Sandy the Sandman Robinson. We talk about all the important things you didn't know were important. Or Second Look at your thing. Are there movies that you love that other people hate? Well, that's me here on Take 3 in a nutshell. So I talk about that. So you should probably go and check those out, guys. Just a little extension cord me. I'm just plugging away here. I'll do the exact same plugs at the end of this.
Perfect. And of course we're going to focus on our after show. So this is our after show of the Schmoedown. Those of us who can watch the Patreon exclusive matches, we're going to be talking about those once they're available to everyone on Patreon. And so we're going to try and build up our brand outside of reactions, which is what we've wanted to do anyway. Reactions are great, but we've never wanted them to be our staple. We've never wanted them to be the only thing we do. We all have our passions, and we all have things that we really love. And for me, like, I love talking about the Schmoedown. I love talking about it with my friends, which is what the show has really become. And it's something that we're all kind of passionate about. And I like doing it, and Matt's passionate about Rhyme and Reason, and Malcolm's passionate about Rankum. So we just want to express, what we want to do outside of reactions, and if we continue doing them or not, it's really more just
we love the reactions, and we love. Listen, the reason why Ben and Drew know who I am, and I mean it is literally true, is because of the reactions that I did to Team Action. And we love the fact that so many of you, like, actually want to see reactions. Like, we've gotten messages where it's like, when are you posting reactions to this match? Because you guys love to watch the matches with us. And that, for a bunch of people who sit at home and do this for fun, that is so cool. But we're passionate, and we put so much work in. Because, like, I'm not sure if you mean, like, I added reactions, but, like, kind of all you do when you react is you kind of sit down, and reactions are a very passive thing. You kind of just watch the match, whereas, like, the Summit, Rank Up, Rhyme and Reason, like, these take time for us to figure stuff out. And so we hope that next year you'll stick with us, even if we aren't able to do a lot of reactions. And just to wrap up talking about the Patreon,
I'm excited for the changes. I mean, I've been part of Patreon since it came out. I'm really excited about the changes. I think that it's a great way to continue what we love while also being able to build the brand. I just want to make sure that, Malcolm, I know that you've been gifted a subscription, so that's great.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you wanted to say about the Patreon changes before we move on?
Yeah, I mean, the Patreon changes, like, it's one of those things that that I knew was probably going to happen eventually, because there's only so much Christian and Mark can do on their own. But I mean, there's definitely been a lot of not a lot of talk in the MTS page at all, not a lot. But no, I mean, there's so many people that have been gifting subscriptions to people because they're nice people, and that's good. Like, to criticize people because of their situation is not on, but yeah.
Yeah, and I don't really, like, I mean, it's the same with the Mara thing. I don't want to focus on negativity. There's been so much negativity on the page the last couple of days, but it's drowning out the really positive things that are happening. And the people who have been offering to gift subscriptions, there are so many posts, and they're getting lost because people keep posting about things that are negative or whatever. And it's like, can we focus on the good that is happening because of this and the giving that's happening because of this? There's so much good happening on that page, and a few negative things are really drowning it out. I'm really happy that you're going to be able to watch Patreon stuff, though, Malcolm.
I do want to say about for the fans, because I was like you guys not too long ago. I mean, you can remember when we did our reaction to the Patreon announcement. I was going to be able to be a patron of Schmoedown. I understand this is hard, and it sucks to love the Schmoedown, to love inner geekdom or the Star Wars or the team matches, and to not be able to watch it anymore. And I get that, but just I'm gonna get real sappy here, mostly just because of the time of year it is. Mostly just because of the time of year it is. It sucks that some of you won't be able to watch these matches, but the Schmoedown has to continue some way. And listen, we're all being cheap. We're a bunch of people who give up our free time, and we don't get money for this, which is, we're on, listen, nothing against Google Hangouts, but like, we're on Google Hangouts right now because like, we can't put money, like, we don't have money to be spending to put into like some super big high tech streaming service. Like we don't, we're a bunch of people at home. She's got a kid right now. And so I understand it. And I feel bad, that Abe isn't apparently giving us money to be able to do it. And so I feel bad, but I think everyone sort of, step back, take a second, enjoy the spectacular that we just got, focus on everything later. Enjoy the matches we just got. Talk about the matches we just got. Go on Twitter and see the threads that have been happening of the civil war between Team Action fans or the corruption fans who are happy Mike got. Talk about that. Talk about all that great stuff. Let's talk about the Patreon and all that later. Let's just enjoy what we just got now.
Yeah, let's definitely, I think that's a good way to think about it. There's going to be a lot of time to talk about all these changes, but there's, going to be only so much time where the millions and millions of amazing, spectacular posts are going to be available to kind of talk about, because it's going to phase away, and we should definitely talk about it while we can. We're going to move on. Real quick, we're going to just predict what's going to happen in 2019. I want to make sure we talk about the upcoming matches. So the live event, which some of us will be able to attend, is going to be happening in New York. We're going to be seeing Chance Ellison versus Janine the Machine, and also Dan Murrell versus Ethan Irwin for the title. So let's just talk about who's going to win real quick. I have Janine and Merle winning. Who knows, really? It could go either way for either match. So, but those are the people I want to see win. I just want to see Dan get the belt back. I think that it would be a great way to start out the year after he's had kind of a rocky 2018. I would love to see him kind of come back and really get it in 2019. So, Malcolm, let's go to you first. Who's winning the live event?
I honestly think after the strong performance he put in the spectacular that Ethan will retain the belt, because I really want to see a rematch between John and Ethan. They had really great chemistry. And the other one's pretty tough to predict, but I've got Chance slightly edging out Janine. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I like I said, it could go either way, and Chance is great. I just think Janine has more experience in singles, which experience goes a long way for me in predicting matches. Matt, who do you think is going to be winning these matches at the live event?
I have Janine winning. I think Janine is, by a lot of people, a really underrated competitor. She missed out on being in the tournament this past singles tournament. I think she's great, and I know a lot of our friends who compete in these things, but like Chance has not competed a lot in singles in the Schmoedown yet. So, you know, and the live crowd, I mean, this can go either way. I just have Janine personally. I would like Janine to win. Even versus Merle. I would like Even to win. It's nothing against Dan Merle. I just think it'd be really great to start off 2019 and continue this thing of we had this season of just like the newbies, just like Dan Merle. If he loses the belt, that's fine. He's gonna be okay. Like he can, but like to start off the season with Ethan Irwin, a guy who no one knew when he came into free for all, making it all the way to the belt to retain it would just be an awesome way to start off the thing of just like, listen, anybody can be anything. You don't have to come from being the movie fights champion or being the outlaw. If you can be just a producer and come in and be the singles champ. And I think that'd just be a really great way to start off a season of who the hell knows what's going to happen.
That is a great transition because we're going to do a rapid fire response. So no explaining. I'm going to just ask for a prediction for 2019. You're going to say the first thing off the top of your head. That way we can try and get as many predictions in as possible. We're going to start it out with who the heck is going to be Andrew Guy's partner? Matt?
Who's going to be Andrew Guy's partner? Oh, God. I'm going to say Mark Donica. I say Donica because Donica, for a very long time, for Action Movie Anatomy, was their engineer. He's had a long time relation with him. He's a heel. He has the Inner Geekdom stuff covered for Drew that Drew doesn't really have. I think they could be the Enforcer and Drew could be a really interesting pairing next season.
Okay, I'll allow the explaining for this one. Fine. Malcolm.
You were cracking
Andrew
up.
Guy's partner.
I'm sorry.
Maybe you're cracking up.
I mean, based on the fact we're probably going to get storyline between Robert My Burnett and Tom, I'm going to say Robert My Burnett.
I think that's fair. I put down either Snyder or JTE. I was just thinking of heels who are partnerless, and I can't imagine Snyder and Draco sticking together, and JTE is partnerless right now, so they seem like good candidates. Next is who's going to be the fifth horseman? Malcolm?
I think Ben's going to be the fifth horseman.
That's a pretty good guess. Who is going to be the fifth horseman, Matt?
I don't think the five horsemen are going to make six next season.
Wow. What a shock that is. I had a short list of Mance, Damon, and Ben Bateman. So we'll see who shows up as the fifth horseman. Let's go on to what we want to see for upcoming matches. So just what singles upcoming matchup do you want to see, and what teams upcoming matchup do you want to see?
You didn't.
Shoot. Yeah, Matt. Sorry.
Singles, I want to see Dagnino versus Knapsack. Teams, I want to see. I'm trying to think who's existed anymore. I want to see who's the boss versus Andrew Guy's partner. We don't know who it is.
But my prediction for this.
That's on my list as well. So good choice. Malcolm, do you have any upcoming matchups you want to see?
I want to see Robert My Burnett versus Tom. And for teams, I want to see another match between Shire Wolves and Who's the Boss.
Yeah, that would be great. That would be really great. Yeah.
Okay. I want to see Claire Wolf versus John Rocca. And I want to see Tim the Canoli versus the Paddington too.
That'd be really cool. My short list is I want to see a proper match between the Wildberries and the Harris Brothers, because we got almost the Harris Brothers versus Wildberries, but I just like the dynamic of the Wild Boys versus the Professors. I think it's a cool dynamic.
Wildberries.
And yeah, if Ben is in the same faction, if he joins the Horsemen, it'd be cool to see Dan and Roca versus Who's the Boss. I think that'd be really cool. Outside of that, let's get a match with Jay Washington, please. A singles match. I don't care who it's against. Inner Geekdom. Let's put him in again. It's been long enough. And let's do real quick just one storyline thing we want to see continue into 2019. Malcolm, what storyline do you want to see happening next year?
I think we're probably going to see more with Christian being the chairman storyline. I think that's going to continue on, obviously, but and I think what's going to happen, I think each league is going to have their own commissioner. So like Inner Geekdom will have another one, most likely MF5, which is probably the better one for that. And then singles and teams may have their own commissioners. But yeah.
Great. Matt, what is one storyline you want to see next year?
I want to see Mike Kalinowski fighting against Paulie G and Christian for pretty much just using him as their pawn this year. I want to see him fight back against that next season.
Perfect. And yeah, I put Mike getting his revenge on my list, but I also want to see something happening with Bibbs' entrance thing. I would like for him to get his own faction, an entrance faction full of fabulous people like Brianne Chandler and other people who do great entrances. So that's what I want to see. So that's it for us for this. It's our last episode of the summit for the year. We're going to continue in January during the off season by presenting our top 10 lists. So we're going to be doing top 10 matches, top 10 moments, and then our favorite singles players and our favorite teams. It's going to be great. They're going to be hosted by myself and Malcolm. And so make sure you check those out when those start coming out. And as is tradition nowadays, I end the episode by bouncing my child. So we're going to do plugs real quick and just say real quick what the Schmoedown has meant to you in 2018. So we're going to start it out with Malcolm.
You can catch me on Tape View Productions, where I host my own show, Rankin. You can find me in approximately a few hours with Christmas movie characters. It's going to be a lot of fun and definitely a lot of fighting, most likely, is what always happens. But you can catch me next year competing throughout Full Metal Trivia and Multiplex all the time. And in Multiplex, you'll find me in teams in the fandom fight side of things with Matt Kearns. And you can also find me in teams on the Warzone side with my partner Manning, who I'm bringing in as well. So it's definitely going to be a lot of fun. And you can also find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Stardust at Malcor.
There you go. Matt, where can we find you, and what has the Schmoedown meant to you this year?
You guys can find me as always at Kearns_Matthew on Twitter, Matt Moose 611 on YouTube, and right here as host of Second Look and co-host of Rhyme and Reason with Sandy Robinson. What the Schmoedown has meant to me is it's been since 2016 another fantastic entertainment between everything and just a great outlet for hanging out with my friends, being able to do a show like this, because this is one of my favorite things to do is just talk about the Schmoedown with people that I love. Oh God, I got real sappy up in here.
Yeah, and you can find me, as always, Smith_K10, the number, not the word, on Twitter, Instagram, and Stardust. You can also find me right here on Take 3, hosting the Reactors Summit, which will be back in January, and then back in full in February when the Schmoedown season starts next year. And we'll see what the format looks like for that with the new Patreon stuff, but it should be great anyway. What the Schmoedown has meant to me this year, I've had a lot of changes this year in my life, obviously. Obviously, there have been just a lot of changes. We moved, we had a child.
Wait, I'm sorry. You put moving over having a child when it came to changes?
The moving has been a big thing. And there's been just a lot happening in my life that, besides just being pregnant, which is terrible. A lot of things that have happened that have been either stressful or overwhelming. Myself and my husband lived apart for a large part of this year as he moved before I did. and the one thing that stayed constant this year was the Schmoedown, and the friends I've made through the Schmoedown. We got the opportunity to go to Free for All at the beginning of the year, and we had just found out, or we just announced basically that we were pregnant right before that happened, and
you abandoned me.
we abandoned that. We got a lot of support from our friends while we were there, and we got a lot of support from our friends through the Schmoedown afterwards, and that's really what it's meant to me this year is just through everything that has been difficult and everything that's been changing and all the stresses and sadnesses and pains that have happened this year, the friends I've made and the people I've met and the joy that I get from being a part of this community has been constant. And I have loved every second of this year with all of you and hosting this show, even though I didn't host it for a couple months in the middle of the year.
I hosted this show.
Yeah, you did.
Also, speaking of which, there's a friend of ours we haven't tossed it to yet, Kristen, from a certain fast franchise.
We'll do it right at the end to close out the show. But
I hosted this show. Oh my God, I forgot
you did.
about that.
But I just really wanted to express my thanks to everyone watching, my thanks to everyone in the Schmoedown, my thanks to all of our reactor friends, and all of the people that we have met through the Schmoedown in whatever capacity we're friends. You know, you guys have meant so much to me and helped me through a lot of things. And I will always, always love talking about the Schmoedown, even if we can't do reactions as often as we'd like. That it means a lot to us that you have checked out our reactions as many times as you have. And with that, before I get emotional, oh yeah, we'll do Abe. Fine. But Abe, once you're done, we're gonna shoot it over to our last fantasy update of the year. So as soon as you're done, that's what's gonna happen.
What am I supposed to do?
Am I thankful for something?
Plug yourself and.
Oh my God, Abe, you just show up and you don't even know what's happening.
We're trying to end the show, dude.
Oh, hi, I'm watching football. The Colts are in the of the Giants. We're gonna make the playoffs. Steelers please last.
Okay, mute him. Okay, so we're Abe.
You
if
can
you
follow
want
me on Twitter at AbrahamF25. You don't have a Facebook if I don't know you. I don't know what to say. I'm terrible at this. Am I thankful for something? Well, I'm thankful. No, I'm not.
Okay, all right.
I hate every one of you.
Okay, well, we're gonna shoot it over to the fantasy updates to close out our episode. So, Vin Diesel, why don't you give us our fantasy update?
Hey guys, this is Vin Diesel. I'm back with the last fantasy update for 2018 with my Schmoedown family. Take 3. So, Abraham Flores, he won. He had a good family year. He was very, very good. I wanted to say what the Schmoedown meant to me is I got enough family. I had the Saving Private Ryan family, the Neon Giant family, and then the Fast and Furious family. And now, Take 3 is my family. Thank you guys.
What about the pacifier family?
I know that I had a lot to live up to after the last fantasy update guy left, but thank you. And I also wanted to say you can follow me on Twitter at Vin Diesel. Tweet at me about this show. Like, actually do it. I'll respond to you. Also, today is Christmas Eve. If you have not gone to stocking stuffer for your family, Fate the Furious, every movie fan should have in their collection. You see that baby? That baby should get Fate the Furious, as well as the other fantastic Fast and Furious films. Thank you so much. I love you all. Until I see you again.
And with that, we'd like to thank you guys all for a wonderful year of Schmoedown commentary. Thank you all for checking us out and for supporting us. And we want to just send you off with a very warm Merry Christmas if you celebrate it, and a Happy New Year. And we will see you in 2019. Take care, guys.